I wanted you to understand the brain. Nobody will explain you this part. People directly jump to a methodology and think that it will work. That doesn't work at all. Methodologies don't work. Methodologies have to be understood, and the reasoning behind the methodology has to be understood, and you have to understand your brain, how it will work, how it will solve problems. Right? I hope you have understood what we have discussed so far. Yeah, anybody? Because then I can maybe discuss some examples from Walt Disney's life or something.
Yes, please do it.
Okay, great. Thanks. So let us move to Walt Disney's life. You are able to see that screen?
Yes, it's okay.
Oh, just a second. Is it in the presentation mode? No. I'll put it in the presentation mode. Now you can see it?
Yes.
Right? Okay. So basically, what was his creative strategy? He played three roles. The dreamer, who will, irrespective of what is not possible, he will dream. Then he'll bring in the realist, who will decide how this can be done. And he also brings in the critic, who will check the logic, whether this can happen or not. Because realist can do the things, but the logic is checked by the critic. So this three-pronged strategy worked for Walt Disney. Like, he was always the dreamer, realist, and critic, all at the same time. So that's why he could do things which were never done before him. So he could, like, he dreamed that of what would be the city, the new kind of city that this world will need in future. So a project called Epcot project was born, which is, unfortunately, with his death, it remained unfinished. But even that unfinished was much beyond what the world had ever seen. So people, when they go to US, especially people who want to like see something useful, they will always go to Epcot City. So people had his Walt Disney's drawings, but they could not recreate what he thought. Similarly, before this, he created animation movies. Also, after that, he created Disneyland. So third was Epcot. So 3 times he has done things which were not done before. Because he always dreamed of things, what future requires. So these were some of the drawings from Disneyland, how they would imagine Disneyland to be. So, like, this drawing looks very simple. With somebody may ask, will adults do this? Sit in ducks and go around just a small house? But they did, because Disney imagined it and created it so that people will forget that they are adults, and so on. So here, now, which looks like a very innocent one. So you should feel that you are in Africa amongst some lost tribes. But to create that effect, he made a rock which would hang over the boat, and the water should fall on the other side. So when you look at the world through the water, you will feel that mystery. So he always thought about what he was creating and why he was creating it that way. And many other. This is Alice in Wonderland. So people who have read Alice in Wonderland may recognize some of the creatures in this, the house of cards and everything. So he would recreate them to a scale where people will forget their real world. The scale, the quality of the scale, everything was very up to date in this. Okay, now I'll go back to, I'll stop sharing my screen and start discussing some things. Fine. Just a second. How do I become full screen? Vikram sir, are you there?
So yes, I'm here.
Okay, right. So now I'll try and discuss a few things, like when we start on trying to create something new in a response to a problem that we get. So what all is possible? Ideally, when we go towards making a mind map, when we make a mind map, we're able to like see all the possibilities together. But before that, we're able to put all knowledge together on a paper. When we get all the knowledge about any object that you're trying to make, you would be making the, suppose, okay, take an example. So suppose you find it irritating. First, you have to have felt the problem. So if you find it irritating that people slam the doors in the cars, right? Okay, let us try to do it right now. So if people slam doors on the cars and you feel bad about it, what can be done? What do you imagine should happen? Just share some ideas. How do you imagine it to happen? If somebody, every time you sit in a car and somebody is slamming a door in the car, some people like slam the door hard. So if you feel about it, what do you think is possible? What can be done? Just ideas, please. Go ahead, share. And yes, please put on your cameras. We can also take a picture together, and we should discuss it live now. That will make it more interesting.
So hello, everyone.
Yeah, Eugene. So nice.
Yes, I'm Evgeny from Moscow, from Russia. Thank you, Mr. Vineet, to inviting to this conference. So this is quite exciting. So first of all, I would like to add some ideas to Mr. Vineet. Just explained about how to create something useful. And for sure, we are speaking about how to create the products for the humans, at least. Yeah, that's right.
Right.
So yes, so that means because normally when we start discussing some problems, we always have to determine the situation, and usually it happens that we have to create some solutions not only for the humans, so that's we have to figure out at least that situation. So so now coming back to the question of the Mr. Vineet. So this is quite unusual situation for at least for me, because I'm thinking from my experience from my country at least. So you know, I will input my details, and first things that I catch, how come? So how come this situation could be? And after that, I'm trying to start to imagine the rest situation, the rest, maybe the rest countries, the rest users, the unusual situation, and that is why I have to look all over the world, at least, yes, and to check. And as Mr. Vineet also told us about the mind mapping, you will collect this all kind of information, all kind of specific things around, and maybe after some time you'll analyze what you really could get from that. And the next step is to create some really your own vision. Your own vision of the useful solution, but
Right.
before just a vision, and a vision could be some really unusual. So that is why he's asking us, as I understand, to apply some our suggestions about this situation. For me, at least, the solution just not to go to this situation. So just a simple solution. So
Right.
yeah, I don't like, I don't want. So that is the solution, just to prevent.
Right.
If for example, if I already in this situation, I
Right.
just I just have to just have to survive, just have to resist the force from the outside, and at the end of the day I have to sleep well, and next morning to analyze again what has
Right.
happened. And maybe I have to redesign the real situation from the back to days. For example, I have to reorganize. It depends on the, for example, it could be a city, or could be I don't know, maybe a mountains or other sites, for example. I don't know, and it depends. The solution will be connected. So
Mhm.
at least you know the maybe some terms like nature-based solutions, for example, and you can also think to this direction. So maybe
Yeah.
you will find the natural solution of this situation. For example, just not to build a big structure, a big I don't
Mm.
know, big product. So
Right.
maybe just you have
I'll
to
give an I had an idea I can give. Like, I always thought that when somebody slammed a door, can the door say out? That is a solution. If the door says out, maybe
what will
person will
next.
stop slamming it.
For
Right.
for example, maybe, or you just have to fastly escape your, I don't know, vehicle, for example, like a rocket,
No, no, I'm
for
saying
example.
slamming means somebody who's coming in. While coming in, people slam the door. Not the other. I think you understood it a different way. Like somebody who comes in, sits in your car, and is shutting the door strong.
So anyway,
That
uh,
so if the car says out, that person will next time will be more careful. So
at least,
sometimes solution is so
or
simple.
maybe you will share your accommodation with these slamming people. I
Right.
don't know. Share some drinks, some food. I don't know. So it really depends, because
Right.
you have to
So,
collect the
right.
details.
You have to be creative in your approach. So there could be many solutions possible. So you have to be very simplistic, right? Like you said, so very simplistic in approaching it, how to solve it.
Can
So
I?
Yeah.
similarly, yeah, we can have so many problems that can be solved, like people not taking vaccines is again a problem. The bubble in Olympics breaking is again a design problem. So there's
Yes.
so many design problems that are occurring. Like, for example, Indian team recently went to Sri Lanka to play. More than half of the team members got COVID in Sri Lanka. So which means there is a huge design problem in how the thing was designed, because the bubble, whatever they call it, isolation bubble or whatever, it is not working. So there's a design problem. Maybe there's an external like invasion into that bubble all the time, which we are not able to identify. So there are design problems all around us, right? And we can always keep on finding very simple solutions. So my suggestion is always that it is not about when you get a project, we work on it. Think of your life as a project and work on every problem as a design problem and keep solving it, because you have to make your mind, which becomes a design thinker. So every time when we are solving problems, at every stage, every day, everything. Like if Eugenie may remember, last day on Saturday evening, there was this that we had to rank all the um, competitors, right? We had to give them awards. So I thought it as a design problem. So I immediately gave a suggestion, why not like share a voting, and that will be much more better, right? So similarly, whenever we hit roadblocks, that is a design issue. So many people may go about it emotionally, but best is to detach the emotion from it and try to solve it now. So that is a lifestyle, which I'm trying to explain, that design thinking is a lifestyle. It is not a process. If we adopt that lifestyle, we will all our life become design thinkers and we'll solve problems.
And
It's not something that you learn logically as a left brain thinker and you cannot work on it. That, okay, these are 5 steps. If I do the 5 steps, I'll get an answer. Right? Yeah, Eugenie, please.
Yes, I'm sorry, just want to add one thing. So, for example, the Kaizen methodology, I hope you know. So this is the idea to improve everything around you step by step, every day, every day, every week, for whole all your life, and this could be a one pattern of your design thinking, of your maybe problem solution. This is not the final solution, just how to survive every day, and as your designer you always want to improve something. Yeah, this is your really permanent condition, and after that you'll really collect a big database,
Right.
how to solve the simple problem very cheap.
That's a
Right.
normal phenomena. I think, may I intervene?
Yeah, sure, sure. Please. Now we are discussing.
That's a normal phenomena. Everyone, whenever he or she encounters something, he tries to solve it. You cannot escape from the situation. You learn hard way or the easy way. We
Right.
try to solve it. As you have said about the slamming of
Right.
the door, if the door will say ouch, the people will be much more sensitized. So the things land up on sensitizing the yourself as well as the community. If
Right.
we are sensitized about the crossing on the roads, we will not cross the road on the red light. We are not sensitized, that is why we are crossing on red, green, we don't bother. So the where the children are sensitized, adults are sensitized, or the community is sensitized, we follow some rules and we get some better results. End of
Right.
the day, what is the use of these traffic lights? To save ourselves. Similarly, whatever the things which comes in our life, also want to make our life easier. That is the creative thinking works for. We have n number of things in the surrounding, day in and day out. You said we have to be design thinker every moment. So
Yeah.
design thinker thought is to make ourselves much more easy to solve the situations. That is what is my
Right.
understanding.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, okay, when we look at the design thinking methodologies, so my only take is the methodologies that I in fact showcased earlier also. It is not about hard coding yourself into those methodologies, learning all the aspects of the methodology and then adapting as per the solution required. So sometimes the solution may not require you to say create a user journey,
Yes, yes.
whereas another time it would require a user journey to be created. So user interviews, now for example, a lot of people read about the user interviews and even conduct user interviews without actually being sensitive to the issue. So that user interview takes them nowhere. And I actually hate people who fill forms, like all these surveys. Surveys have never got an answer. Like
Of the time,
we,
closing our eyes and taking them
yeah,
right, one,
because
one.
people will always answer what they think is the right answer, not what their feeling is.
Right.
So, in fact, luckily, neither Google did any survey before starting Google, nor Facebook did any survey before starting Facebook. That's why they're successful. If they would have done surveys, maybe people would have said, we don't need this. For example, if Facebook says, would you like to meet people? No, I don't need anything electronic to meet people. But people are meeting people on Facebook. So people will never be able to spell out what they want. So when we think that we'll do a survey and learn from them what they want, it could be a very bad idea.
Give them
It
an
is,
experiential journey.
yeah. So basically, yeah, talking to the individual user after like you have the complete knowledge about the aspects involved. So you can't talk to a, for example, if you talk to a student at a university about the user journey in the university, if you're not familiar with what a user journey in a university is, you're not able to do justice to that. So it is very important to first work hard to familiarize with the entire ecosystem before trying to solve the problem. So that familiarization aspect, which sometimes, like if you are totally unaware and you are somebody who's destined to solve the problem, then the best is that like you basically try to either become the user or talk very sensitively to a user that you know is impacted somewhat by that, without getting too emotionally drawn in to that. So that is how my problem solving method works. And I think most of you, especially people who are new to solving problems, again, problem solving is not about designing products or creating apps, as most people believe. I believe anything which is not pure logic driven, like something like engineering to some extent, not exactly fully. Most of the fields, including engineering design, are all problem solution oriented. So a doctor, when he tries to find the illness in you, is on a problem solving mode. He's not on a logic mode. He has to skip patterns, which is called gestalt also. So he has to recognize patterns. He has to be able to identify multiple things together to guess what issue you're going through. So anything, anywhere, like for example, an MBA business person, is they have to make a market strategy or they have to sell a product. It is problem solving. So problem solving uh, definitely will have some kind of steps, but that steps have to be led by you. You have to decide what steps. See, let us understand why these steps are there in the first place. Somebody will say, should there be a design methodology or not? Okay, how does methodology come in? Somebody like Leonardo da Vinci, try find what is his methodology. So he makes a few sketches and makes the thing. That's it. Because he's meeting the problems, rest of the things is done in his head. Because he's met enough problems to be able to find solutions right away. There's a load of information he has, but still he does his studies when required. So typically, so what the left brain people did, okay, let us think how Vinci thought. Let us put it on paper, what Vinci did. And then we'll teach it to students that this is how you think, right? That is how methodologies came in. Like you try to analyze great thinkers, replicate that on paper so that it can be taught to people. So my method is methodologies must be taught, and then the student must be able to differentiate between different aspects of the methodology and derive the parts that are very important to the particular solution that they're doing. Right? So if you're trying to make a toy, then there are certain aspects of methodologies that apply. For example, you don't go to kids and do interviews. So for toys, the user interview is out. Right? So you have to look at the problem and then decide the methodology. Fine. So anybody, any question? Yeah, in the chat, I think there's something maybe. Yes. So anything that we must discuss? Please, all those who are here, uh, put in some question at least, participate. That will make it much more interesting. Mm-hmm.
Sorry, just missed
Yeah,
a few minutes, so
Sure.
sorry.
Sure, anybody? Anybody has any question now on design thinking process? Okay. In the meantime, while you think about the questions, I'll come to another interesting favorite topic of mine, which is empathy. Because one of the processes has placed empathy as the first step to ideation. So like I said at that moment, that I have got a huge issue with that process. Because when they say that empathy should be evoked at that stage. Empathy is not something that you can bring. Empathy is an environment that in which you exist. Like you are either empathetic or you're not. I'll give an example. Like for example, maybe Eugenie, you have been to India? Never. Okay. And okay. So
One time.
One
I
time,
have been.
great. So
Yes.
when you stop at a traffic light, so sometimes what happens is a beggar will come in, knock on your window. If you've ever seen that, right? So let me imagine three kinds of people. The emotional people will take out money and give them. They're emotional people, sensitive people, but they're not problem solvers, of course. So technically, if you are that one, I'm sorry, you're not for design. I'm very clear on how people think. On the other hand, the logical people will think, why don't they work? But they'll do nothing about it. They'll only question, criticize, and walk away. The empathetic people who have lived in empathy, who are design thinkers, who have got left brain and right brain, will not get emotional. Maybe they will roll up the window and ask, why don't you work? Because they want an answer, they want to study the user. They want to understand that whether this person is impaired is a knowledge problem, a physics problem or physical problem, or a finance problem. What is his problem? Why is he not able to solve the issue of earning his bread? Right? So he may take an interview. I don't know. I've taken interviews of some beggars, so I can tell you.
I will go a step forward. I'll always ask them, would you like to come and sit in my car? I'll take you to my home and work with me, and I'll pay you money. And
Right.
they always refuse. We are quite comfortable here. We are living here. We have a place to live. I don't want to come with you.
Right.
So
So
this is my thought process.
I know. So like you have to get into every problem. That will train your brain to think about answers. It is not about that you're solving that person's problem or not, but your brain gets trained to think about answers. That's what. So every time you encounter a problem, that is the way to go. So should we take a look at some mind map or something? If there is no question, I don't know why there's no question. I have been very boring.
You are explaining everything so well that nobody has think to ask anything. So they
Okay.
have understood everything. Although I have joined a little late, I missed a couple of things.
Yeah, I guess. Okay, I'll just share a screen that shows some things, how a mind map gets created. So I'm sharing a mind map of skill, so it is easily understood. Like what basically is a UX design career or even a product design career, it is similar in nature. So there are many kinds of careers possible. This is a mind map. This is how mind maps are drawn. So I'm showing you a mind map while showing how a design career may be thought about. So basically, there needs to be personality, a specific personality. A person can be a psychologist kind of a personality, a researcher personality, an artist personality, somebody who's a good reader, or somebody who's a good problem solver. These are 5 broad categories of people who belong to a UX design or a design career. Then what kind of careers? So they could be visual designer, design thinker, UX researcher, UX designer, interaction designer, in fact, also. And then there could be alternate careers like a service designer, a product designer, system designer. So these are alternate careers with the same set of knowledge. There are many examples of people who were great with UX, including Mahatma Gandhi, who basically designed a revolution. It doesn't get bigger than that. Design, there's the biggest example of design. He designed a revolution. He controlled that design, totally setting rules of how to revolt. Lee Corbusier, who designed my city, Chandigarh, and as one of the finest cities, finest or best designed cities in the world. And I really marvel at his design because when I look at every aspect, like the children are safer in Chandigarh, they never reach the main roads. All houses have their backs to the main roads, not the fronts, like in many cities of the world. Similarly, Steve Jobs, who designed a lot of things, including the personal computer, the Macintosh, and iPod, and then later the iPhone. Walt Disney, again, who did the, like we discussed earlier. David Ogilvy, some people may find him unlikely here, but he's the kind of the godfather of advertising and brought in great ideas to design. Ray Kroc. Ray Kroc, frankly, you can substitute this name by Dick McDonald, because McDonald was the real designer. Ray Kroc furthered it. So McDonald created the design of how to deliver a burger in 30 seconds. And they really worked hard on the design. They did use cases, scenarios, everything they did. Whatever we talk of today as the steps, they do all of those steps. And then you've got Bill Gates, again, another kind of a designer. So many personalities, when you look at them, always try to maybe read about them, maybe their autobiographies or anything else, so that you learn about how personality influences design and how they solved the problems. These people, because they always ended up solving the problem. So their design thinking methodology also must be understood by you. So for example, when Mahatma Gandhi was asked to like go off from a rail coach or something, or road car, he immediately thought, he never protested. He only thought how to solve this, what to do. So, okay, somebody had asked, I'm sorry, I missed that question maybe, how observations play a role. This is, okay, by the way, this is an image from how McDonald's was designed. On a basketball court, they drew every element of what goes into a McD restaurant. Every platform, every table was drawn, from where the burger will be picked to where the whatever potato, what do you call it, the tikki, call it tikki, would be put, where the leaves will be put, what sauces will be put, who will put them, how many drops of sauce will go in, how many tomatoes, how many onions, who will do this, and how will that burger move through this in 30 seconds to land as a wrapped burger on a specific side, from where the counter person will pick up and hand over to the guest. So this is how it was designed. So people have done hard work when they design some. Sometimes when we talk of MACDs or anything, we think that okay, fine, so they're only putting together burgers. No, they did something very unique to their era. So that's how design thinking should happen. You should be able to do something very unique that has not happened in that particular era before. So you try to design around that. Okay, Dipali, you wanted to ask how observations play a role here, right? Dipali, you are there? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Ji,
Very good evening, sir.
Good evening. And if you have a camera, maybe we would be so happy to see.
So give me a minute.
Ji. And others also, please, if you put on your camera, it's so nice to discuss things. Ji. Haji. So you were asking about observations, right? So observation is our way of recording things that happen around us, and they play the most important role in design thinking, because like I said that you have to meet a plane, right? Plane of reference. So like Arthur Koestler said, so basically you're going on this plane and this is your observation plane. When you hit it, this observation becomes useful and relevant, right? So which means the people who have information about aeroplanes, here people who have information about space flights, when both of them meet somewhere, then they design the flights which go to space, like a normal flight to space. So when you keep on observing things around you, you are basically mentally noting down a lot of points, right? The only thing is, if you only observe, you become an artist or a sensitive person. So you may do paintings. But if you're observant and also wanting to solve, because just observation doesn't mean you solve. So if you're observant and wanting to solve things, then you become a design thinker. So every time you observe, for example, if you observe that a bird is around your house looking for water, you're observant. But if you put out a bowl of water, then you're a solver, right? So if you keep on solving things, for example, I grew some tomato plants in my house. So there were about 13 plants that came up. So I put 2 or 3 plants per pot, and they grew. Now I observed, this is about observation. Some plants had 8 tomatoes. This was cherry tomato plant. So 8 tomatoes on every small branch. Whereas some had only 2 or 3 or 4. Then another plant had larger cherry tomatoes, but it had 6. So only these 2 plants, I saved the seeds. Out of 13, only 2 plants. So observing and then design thinking. Next stage, I grow only those plants. So you get it? Everything you do, you have to keep on thinking what I can do better for the next step. Right?
Yes, sir. So sorry to intervene here, but then it's like that. I think all of us or many of us are a design thinker in a way, because actually my background is an engineering background.
Ji.
I'm not a designer.
Sure.
Yes, sir. So what I think, even a small kid sometimes gives a solution many times in
Right,
our lives. I have a small daughter, she is 6 years old. So
right.
sometimes she gives solution to me. So
Mhm.
I think to a problem, to a small problems. So I think that is also a design thinking.
Surely, in fact, children, like I told, till the age of 6, till we intervene with the school and all, they are totally design thinkers. It is we who train them that, oh, stop thinking creatively. Please learn your lesson. Please remember your lesson. It is we who stop them from design thinking.
Actually, sometimes she talks and speaks so many things, which I
Yeah,
think that why are we not able to do this? And that was
right,
not really complex. That is actually very simple and
mhm,
very straight solution. But
right,
sometimes we were not able to land up to that solution. We think
right,
some more complex things.
right. So, in fact, the world's toughest task is to simplify things, and which a kid can do much better than us. So, we have to learn to find not only the solution, but a simple solution. I'll just maybe Eugenie knows about this. Eugenie, when we had to make a screwdriver, right, in April start. So I didn't share my idea there, but the screwdriver that I thought, see, the surfboard has no depth. It is a flat thing, right? So I decided that on the surfboard, we do not need a long screwdriver because the neck of the screwdriver is only to reach out to spaces, whereas we don't need it. So I had designed a circular screwdriver. So like a disc, it will move. On the center, there will be just one small bit, one thin bit. So you put that bit and then you have more torque available because it is a big circle. So you can easily rotate. Understand that? So it was a circular screwdriver I had designed at that stage. But although we didn't get to share as because we were the experts there, so I didn't share that design. But I thought that yeah, this is how it should be designed. Maybe I have a sketch. I'll just show. So because I thought that originally when we look at a solution, why a screwdriver has to be long is only because we want to reach deep. So on a snowboard, we did not want to reach deep. So my problem is solved. I do not need a long screwdriver, right? I'll just share that sketch just now. I'm only sharing because Eugenie is there, so he understands this. So this is how the screwdriver I thought. On one side, there'll be this bit to tighten it. On the other side, it will be for the nut, like this is for screws, and on the other side, it is for nuts. And it will be just a circular thing with just 4 ribs so that it is light, it floats, and you can put your fingers inside and tighten it. So this is how I thought that it will be very, yeah, Eugenie, you want to share a slide? I guess there is a message from Eugenie.
Yes. Just I'm just
Yeah, sure.
want to share one slide
Great, great.
about
That is so nice.
few tools
Right.
that
I'll see if your sharing is on. Just let me check.
yeah, please give me the rights at
Right,
least
right.
to share.
Yeah, yeah. You are co-host now.
Okay, great. So just want to back maybe few slides in your
Sure, sure.
presentation and want to speak a little bit about some tools of
Great.
design thinking. No,
Wonderful.
actually, this is not a natural tools of design thinking. This is a kind of thinking, and
Right.
let me show. Wait, share. Yeah. So can you see my screen?
Yeah.
So great to know. This is about the original design thinking steps in
Right.
the center, as you can see. And sorry, because I didn't
Russian.
prepare.
That's
This
okay.
is for this presentation. Actually, I just open it from my current presentation for my Russian customers. So
Right.
this is a few steps here. This is about criticism. So this is about Socratic thinking from the ancient ages, as you know. So this is like the system thinking, or maybe engineering system. And I also send you a link for the trees problem solution methodology. This is on this side, and this is the creativity thinking. In between, here is few options how to reach the goals and how to get few solutions here. For example, this is the so-called scenarios tools. This is about forecasting your future solution, and the most exciting things is about backcasting. So that means you travel to the, for example, to the future and back and bring something. Yes, so this is the backcasting, and making mixing these tools, you will always get a lot of results. And after that, you have to count and have to estimate the final results. It depends how much, for example, money or time or power you have. And for sure, you will get a lot of original solution if you will follow this methodology. So for the last few years, we test this methodology with different customers, with different students, with different universities, and this is more or less is clear for everybody, and this is very simple to explain and how to start to get your results. So this is just a small explanation, and maybe you also would like to use these small tools. This is a kind of I don't know, mixture of different simple tools.
Great.
but
Different methodologies coming together, right?
yeah, and most of the time I during my lectures, even in university or in companies, I asked the customers or the students to create their own current methodology for the current business. So, and this is example really helps them to create something that will really work in this area. So for sure you can use it everywhere, but normally when I explain a lot of information, I try to summarize and stop in the middle and try to let all the customers to do the own solution according, for example, this idea. So this is my
No,
small
great.
input.
In fact, it also helps us understand that there's so many ways to crack this. And interesting, that brings me to another way, like when you said back from future. So it
Yeah.
brings me to one more way. In fact, this I told in my lecture in Korea at Konkuk University. They had invited me to a lecture, and this was a very interesting scenario. Imagine I was there, their HOD was there, Mr. Jiho Shin, and these were 20 students of animation sitting in front of me. So when I began my lecture about storytelling, so Jiho Shin was translating. After 10-15 minutes, I noticed that Jiho Shin has stopped translating. He was not speaking. I said, Jiho, how will they understand? He says, from their faces, I know they are understanding everything you're saying. So anyway, what I was telling them was, they said how to think of story ideas for films. So I told them that it's very easy. Films are only of few subjects. One subject is telling people about the past. that, okay, Bible happened, so this is the story, right? Something happened, this king was there, so this is his story. Whatever, anything that happened in the past, you tell them, you show them how it happened. If it was something great, they want to learn from it, is a story about Maradona or Pele in football, or it is the story of some great athlete or something, they'll relate, they'll understand and learn from it. Second is, if sometimes it is that you have a current problem in your country, which you want to portray a solution that you think it should be like this. For example, if in your house there has been like acrimony between your father and mother, a negative feeling, and you think that this could have been solved, so you make a film where people live in a different way. So that is a projection of how life can be lived. That is another way of telling stories to films, through films. The third story is how you believe the future is. That is where aliens and all those kind of films come in. You imagine that this is how it will be in future. So you are trying to give a lesson. If this is the future and dinosaurs are going to come back, then this is how we have to prepare. If a virus is going to strike, this is how we should prepare. So basically, if you don't want to design products, but want to live the experience of product design, you can make films also. So films also is a problem solving methodology in itself, fully. So that was the gist of the lesson or lecture I took at Comco. In fact, I keep on learning whenever I'm talking to kids. It's so something new always comes up. So that is how they think. Like, people can actually make films about what they want to do instead of maybe even doing the thing. So they can share with some people who may end up making that product or that system. So if I feel the government should be run in a different way, you can make a film about it. Not criticizing the government, but showing that new kind of government in your film. Right? So great. So it has been a great discussion all through, and I think we are nearing the end of time. If any questions are there, please. And otherwise, we will end today's session. It has been such a nice audience, but yes, I would be happy if you're not so nice and you raise some questions.
So maybe another point of view, like summarizing about this Back to Future or something
Right.
like that. So at least you have to do something impossible, or you have to think about something impossible, and after that try to reach this impossible situation in the your current time, and only this methodology will bring you to the top of the top. So do impossible things, or imagine impossible things and try to do, like, oh yeah, great great example, currently living, this is the few projects from Elon Musk. So, you know, from the rocket space, from the electric vehicles, from the electronic, I don't know, something impossible money that you can exchange for nothing or for everything. Yeah, you know.
Right.
So this is the best. I think this is the best examples. So try to do impossible. Try to reach impossible. That is the solution. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. So when like Eugenie says, impossible means even simple things sometimes can be what was impossible earlier. Like Bitcoin was something which was not possible earlier. Like converting work to money directly, or converting whatever you're trading to money. So instead of asking for money or whatever, it automatically is get converting to money. So money is also being created in the process. So it was a very unique idea, Bitcoins. Similarly, online transactions were there for a pretty long time, but in recent times there was transaction possible that I can send money to Eugenie, he can send to me, whatever is small, $1, $2 also can be sent. So all this has changed things a lot for people. Then came those applications which I learned from my son, because he was staying in a hostel. So when they went to a hotel and had a bill of say 500 and there are 3 people, so there's software which automatically divide amongst those kids. So my generation is not aware of that, but these kids know this. So they are able to divide their money and manage their money so easily. So there are new things happening all around you all the time. You only have to notice that, okay, this is happening, and you have to also say, see, when sometimes when we are using a software, we say, where is this button? Where is this button? As soon as you say that, it means now you already have innovated. You already know a problem. Whenever we are searching for a button, we are not able to do something, that means that software has an issue and you have innovation at hand. You just have to pen it down. So always note, whenever you find a problem, always note that, okay, I can make this software. Right? Even, for example, right now we are using Zoom. So what problems we face? I'll tell you one problem. When I put my PowerPoint on a presentation mode, and then I have to go and put the YouTube live on. So it is very difficult, because when I click on YouTube live, I have to go to the browser, but on a presentation mode, the browser is not visible. So there are issues with everything. Even Zoom can be reinvented a lot of times. Many changes are possible. If I want to hold a class in Zoom, it is very, very difficult. It is not actually fully meant for a class. So it gives you 2 modes: webinar mode, where everybody has to be silent, or meeting mode, where everybody can be noisy. There's no in-between mode, where I say that, okay, in the center, there's a big picture of the teacher, and on the sides, there are the picture of the students. There's no such mode. Everybody's same size, or only one person is big size. Right? So there are problems already still existing. You can keep on redesigning everything. So Zoom is the best right now. Even with this, there are issues that can be solved. Right? So with on that note, I think we can conclude this. Yeah, Bikram sir, if you are around, we can conclude. I think he's maybe got busy. Okay, so I'll thank you all for being so patient and participating in this. And thank you, Eugenie, for your time. And I hope there's something good for you also in this. Thank you, Gunmala madam. She's my teacher and she's here. So nice to see her.
Oh, pleasant listening to you. It was wonderful experience. I also enjoyed and learned a couple of things.
Oh.
It is always good to hear you and enjoy the session. So I'm so thankful to you. You just invited me for this session. I'm so grateful.
It was a pleasure, and I'm wanting to speak to the students very soon as possible, whenever you want.
Yeah.
At the she's at the university in the MBA department in Chandigarh. Yeah, Bikram sir. So we conclude the session. Over to you.
Thank all of you who have joined, and I hope the session has been wonderful. Those who may be interested, I'm sorry to say, but this time we don't have any seats for the boot camp. But then you can always check out our mailers in the future. In the near future, of course, we'll be launching another boot camp. But for this time, the seats are totally closed and we don't have any. So I hope some of you maybe more will try to dig more into this by joining our next boot camp. And I'm sure we will make it as wonderful as this one. So I thank you all once again.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everyone. See you.
Okay. See you next time. Thank you
See you.
for inviting me.
Bye. Thanks
Bye-bye.
a lot. Bye.